Are we live? I think we're live, guys. Hi.
I think so.
If you can call this living.
Hi, guys. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to our live stream, another Live in the Attic live stream. Today, we have a special guest. Down here, we got Cincy Nerd in the house.
This way.
This way. Oh, but
No, this way.
I'm not sure which way is the one. So yeah. Also, obviously have me. My name is Ed. We got Grecofabulous, the Grec, and we got the beautiful Narkster. We got another retro channel joining us today as well. Yeah. So how have you guys been? Yeah, Cincy, why don't you tell us how you've been? Because you seem really happy.
I've been pretty good. I had a kind of a bad day yesterday. If anyone follows me on Facebook, you know what happened to me yesterday. Had some car troubles, had a little spill, took a little spill. I now have this little number on my lip here. I have a giant gash, almost like Sagat, from like here down to there. Just a giant gash on my chest. I basically took a spill on a scooter, but I'm okay. I think I might have broken my hand. Little road rash on my hand, but I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you guys asked me to do this. So what's up, everyone?
I've been doing okay. So yeah, been looking forward like all week to this live stream. So yeah, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks so much to everybody that's in the chat already. We already got some questions, but we also got a couple of topics we want to get worked out first. How have you been, Greco?
I'm good. I'm as good as I look, which is amazing. So I'm on the cusp of giving myself a haircut. I used to back in the day, nothing too fancy, but is that your own work, Ed?
No. Yeah, I outsourced it to my girlfriend.
My wife doesn't want to touch me. We're at that point in our relationship, so I'm on my own.
I love how your hair is not so much growing long as it's growing outward.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a fro going on, but I like it.
I wish I had hair like that.
No, everything's good. Real life is fine. I mean, I'm totally accustomed to how things are now, and I'm in a good position over here. And YouTube life, I just dropped a new video. So if anybody cares,
you should have picked up those mutations.
Yeah, apparently I dropped the ball on that one. So, but no, it's out there. Yeah, check it out. It's already performing better than my last video, which is great. So life is good. No complaints here.
Good.
So how's Narg doing? You growing a Grec fro too?
No, actually, I want to grow a mullet.
Sweet.
So the wife said that's totally okay. So I kind of have a little tail going on right here. I'm gonna Tiger King it up. Can't wait for that. So
that's awesome. Dye blonde too.
Maybe. Yeah, we just been doing some home improvements over the weekend, getting some stuff done around the house. So it's been pretty productive. Not too bad. And I dropped a video this morning as well. I got a crap load of 80s figures. So check that out if you get a chance, or don't want to. That's fine too.
Should check it out. It's pretty good time capsule of just any 80s toy lines in there. So
it's a ton, dude. It's a ton.
That's awesome. Yeah. What have you been up to, Cincy? Video wise, I know you've been live streaming a lot during your noon sessions, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been doing. I started the first week of quarantine with a live stream every day of the week, and that proved to be kind of a lot. So I went down to 3 live streams, and then last week was my last week of that. Next week, I'm only going to have 1 live stream, but I'm going back to edited videos. So I actually have some stuff that I've been receiving here. So I'm going to put some videos together and edit them up and throw them on the tubes.
Heck yeah.
You want to tease something?
Sure. So I actually purchased, I showed you guys this before we went live. I purchased something from a YouTuber named Justice Curry. He was selling something that I used to collect when I was a kid. I don't have any of them in my current vintage collection, but I changed that and I picked up this bad boy right here. This is the Starcom Starmax Bomber. So I picked this one up. Very, very excited for this. I already took it out of box. Made sure all the little gears were working because there's like things that move and You push
Yeah.
buttons and they move and whatnot.
That's like a pretty big one. Like the ones I find when I find them over here, they're like smaller.
Yeah, the Star
Tiny
Wolf.
modules. I think
Exactly.
they like pop onto each other through the magnets, but
Yeah, the Star Wolf itself is like a smaller ship, and it actually magnetizes to the top of this one. So that was kind of the gimmick back then. Coleco made these in the late 80s. I also picked up a few figures here. So pretty awesome right there. But these 3 figures were the ones that I actually had as a kid. So they were the first ones that I wanted to pick up. And I used to carry these around with me in my pockets when I was a kid, everywhere I went. So
On the card?
what's that?
On the card?
Yeah, I would just stuff them in my pocket and have like gigantic bell bottoms. No, but these were like my security blanket as a kid. I didn't have a blanket. I had little figures. So these guys, Warduke, there's a bunch of different figures. Ninja Snake Eyes, I had him. I would just carry him around everywhere I went. So, but yeah, there's a little sneak preview of an upcoming video that I'm going to have. So.
Very cool.
awesome. That's awesome. That kind of brings us to like our first topic, I think.
Natural segue.
Like-
Well, yeah.
We prepare on this show.
Okay. Like toy hunting as you know, well, we create videos about toy hunting. Should we keep on doing toy hunting videos during Corona? You know, getting people excited to go out there, you know, trilling people to go look for toys when they're actually out there just buying their essentials. Where do you draw the line in that thing? I think that's going to be like the first discussion topic we're going to start off with. I don't know, what's your take on this, Mark?
So I've been going into the office a lot more the past couple of weeks, probably 3 days a week, and the wife's at home working, and so every time she's like, hey, can you stop by a Walmart or Target and get something? So of course I'm going to look at the toy section, and I pick up stuff, but I have not been filming anything, putting anything out, just because in the back of my head, subconsciously, it's like, we're influencers, so I don't want somebody to be like, hey, I want to go get that, and maybe they're not prepared as far as being safe, as having a mask on or any kind of soap or anything. So in the back of my head, I was like, I don't want to get anybody sick or bring that home to their families. So until this is all kind of over, that's going to be the point where I start putting out like retail videos. So that's kind of where I stand.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Cincy?
So if I have to go out and buy milk and bread for either my family or my mom, because my mom's diabetic and she's elderly, so she's higher risk. I don't want her to go out. When I'm like delivering her groceries, I still wear a mask inside and everything, so she can't even see my face. But anyway, if I'm already out buying stuff like groceries and essentials, I mean, I wouldn't not go look and see what they have in the toy aisle. So yeah, I would go over there. I found some things while I was out buying groceries, but I've made it a point to minimize my exposure as much as possible and not go out just to buy toys or to do toy hunts. So, to each their own, but
Right.
I can't risk getting it and giving it to my mom, because if she gets it, she's going to not do well with it. I actually really, really like what Narc has done to his horn. I really like what he's done with his online toy hunts. He went to Dallas Vintage online, and I actually saw a lot of stuff that I didn't even know they had. And I live like 14 miles from Dallas Vintage, and I used to go there at least once a week, but I just don't visit their site very often. But when he did the online toy hunt, I was like, first of all, that's friggin' genius. He doesn't have to leave his house. He's showing us everything that's there, just like he would be at the store. And I saw a lot of stuff there that I didn't know they had. So kudos to you, Narc, for doing that. I appreciate that. But I guess that's my stance, is minimize your exposure. When I'm on my live streams, I always tell people, stay at home. Let's let this thing, be done with, and then we can get out to normal life. So don't risk it, is what I am basically saying.
Yeah, I guess like for me, it's like if you're already out there getting the essentials, I don't mind if you look at toys, but is it a good thing to put that online? I don't think so, because you're teasing people with, oh, I got to go because, well, even if it's in like even if it's in a positive way, oh, I was just there and that's something I wanted. Yeah, I just took it along. But maybe some people might get like the itch of, I want to go out there. I want to go and find that. So I might just drive to the Walmart, which is, 20 minutes further than where I usually go to, something like that, I guess. Mm-hmm. Two ways we can kind of solve this as toy hunters on YouTube, I guess, is doing, the virtual hunting like Narg does, or I've been trying to do a video like that. I might make one, do my take on this type of video, but what I've been doing is just digging around in older footage and making a new video explaining this footage from 2 years ago, because first time like I popped it up on, I think, Monday, and people were already commenting like, where was this? You shouldn't be so close together. But like literally in the first minute I say, this is footage from 2018. So yeah. So it's like Greco's video, because how long was that ago? Are you and Sprooch friends again, or?
Oh, that's all make believe. We never stop being friends. I just like to manufacture drama. Yeah, that was back in December, I want to say. It was a toy show back in December. So not like ages ago. I mean, for some people that put out videos more on the regular, it can be, but for me it's just like yesterday.
I will say, if you're all done, Greco, you all done?
I think so. I don't know. I wasn't really like posed. That was like a direct question. It wasn't like the topic of discussion. So I answered that. Yeah.
I just wanted to say this because if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget it. Boston Mike, if you have the hookups and the ability to do so, and that ability is the ability to go to a store where no one else can go in because it's literally closed and locked, and he can go in there, and the only other person in there is the owner doing paperwork, I would say that's a pretty safe way to do toy hunts during the quarantine. I thought that was freaking awesome. I was like, holy crap, how do I get that? Because he had the whole damn store. He had all of Retro Madness to himself. So I can't fault him with filming in there and showing what they have. It actually felt really good to see someone in a store again, because it made me feel like I wasn't cooped up in my house for the last month. So again, he had very, very special circumstances of he had the whole store to himself, a closed store. So that was pretty cool. So shout out to Boston Mike for that.
Yeah, that was good. Good stuff.
That's something I would like, just, even if we're not quarantined.
I know.
But unfortunately for Belgium, the way it is now, you can't drive unless it's essential, and you can't drive out there, to like another city. So if they catch us, they'll ask, where are you going to? Are you picking up food? Do you have to go for some medicine or something like that? And if you can't really answer it, or get it confirmed, there's like a $250 ticket.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So which is kind of weird, because there's like stores open in Holland, which is like an hour and a half drive. So you could potentially just go, they can still go to like a toy store or like a record store or anything during the week. They're just closed during the weekends. It's
that's weird.
Or at least there was like a small period of time where that was like the case, that Belgium had already locked down. I don't know if it's still like that in Holland, but you would get like people from Belgium hopping over to Holland to be able to do stuff. Just, not so cool, I guess. But,
yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because I think when you were here in Dallas, I asked you about the borders. Like, how loose are the borders? Can you just drive over the border? And I was going to ask you, with the whole Corona thing going on, have they like tightened up the borders? Are they not letting people go from country to country there?
I have no idea, because I haven't been outside of my house, or like in the proximity of like anywhere further than a couple miles in 3 weeks. So yeah. But I haven't heard like anybody getting pulled over for going over to Holland or anything, or to another country. The borders are open. There's never like anybody checking that out. It's like a really big country now, Europe. Only Switzerland they do border controls.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like Greco wanted to go more in depth on the topic, or
No, I just wanted to sit here and listen to everyone else talk, if that's okay. No, I mean, I'm definitely in line with all of you. Like, I'm being a good Boy Scout. I'm really not venturing out. I'm lucky that I'm in a position where, I can work from home, so I really don't have to venture out until we need, the essentials. So even when I'm going to stores, it's not for me. I'm really going to like supermarkets that don't really have like a toy aisle, so I'm not like tempted by that stuff. But if I was in that building already, like I don't see anything wrong with quickly doing a sweep and checking it out. I don't know if I would go there and like actually take extra time to like film stuff and like document it and then like make it into something that could tempt others into thinking like, again, I wouldn't consider myself an influencer, but if somebody were to watch my videos, like, I don't want to be the reason why somebody could potentially get sick or, get others hurt in the process. So I wouldn't sign off on that regard. That being said, as this thing goes further and further, through the calendar, like I have been tempted more so with things like Facebook Marketplace deals, like because there's people out there that either could use the money or they're just they're home, so they're doing spring cleaning. So like there is great deals being put out there that under normal circumstances I would just run out there like immediately and grab.
Mm-hmm.
So like I feel like as time goes on, it's like I'm kind of arguing with myself, right? I'm like, well, if I take these precautions, is it okay? So I feel like before where it was a dead stop, no, do not do this. Now it's like, how much can I stretch it and still be comfortable with what I'm doing to myself and potentially others? So I don't know if you guys are kind of feeling that the longer this goes on. I'm like, oh, it's Ed, I think you did like a local deal, right? Where you just like walked over
yeah, but it was a
Legos.
friend I knew, so
What, friends can't get corona?
no, they can, but we had already, been in touch, so it was already in the contaminated, like, party of people that I see frequently,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's the
During
only
that
thing.
time, because at that time I was still driving up to work, actually. So yeah, we didn't have like the whole thing going on with you can't go anywhere unless it's essential. So yeah, but for me it's the same thing. I was like hunting online, and I would find like a really cool Skeleton Warriors lot, bid like $30, and they'd be like, yeah, come over and pick it up, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Can you ship it? And it was like, I'm gonna let you know tomorrow. I was like, I'll pay for shipping, I don't mind. And he never called me back. Yeah. So there's some other stuff. There's like some other big lots out there I'm bidding on. So yeah, to come back to this question, when do you search for those lots on eBay? I just type in 80s toys, vintage toys. Try getting something really unspecific to see like a big amount of 80s and 90s stuff, and then just bid on that. But shipping that stuff is going to cost some. I don't know, because your box was pretty big with that figure haul you just did, Narc.
With the shipping.
Yeah.
So the whole lot was $83. I think shipping was like $12, so it wasn't too bad at all. I mean,
Yeah,
I think 5 or 6 of those figures kind of paid for the lot, so it's not bad. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, you got a bargain. This is Viper.
Hey, I got a question for you guys real quick.
Yeah.
For those of you that shop on eBay, do you ever, and this is probably giving away a secret, so I'm probably giving something away. Do you ever take advantage of the fact that people don't know how to spell and intentionally misspell something to find that no one has eyes on?
Yeah, I do it quite often. And like here in Belgium with the language barrier, you'll get like turtles where they switch the E and the L in the back because phonetically it makes more sense in Dutch. The same thing with Nintendo. They'll write Nintendo without the second N. So yeah, that works.
Yeah, I found a lot of stuff that way. Just people not knowing how to type or proofread or spell. So here's a little secret.
Yeah, misspellings and just like really generic terms is another way to like look things up. Because I found people, it always surprises me, like they have the aptitude to like list something on eBay, but not actually like research what they're, you know what I mean? It almost seems like there's a misconnection there, but
Yeah.
somehow they find a way to our benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, big guns. I don't know if I'm a big gun, but yeah.
Or a bell gun. I'm trying to make that work.
Ninja Turtles. All right, I wanted to get this one in. Just needed to find like something TMNT. So yeah, they announced a couple books actually this week coming out, TMNT wise, which is totally awesome. I think. So one that you sent to me, Narc, and like a couple others was Rat Plastic. So
Yes.
I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm gonna try sharing something. Does this work? Does this work? Can you see
Ooh,
this?
there it is.
Whoa.
So okay, let's
That's so
here we go. So this is a book called Rat Plastic. Don't know who made it, but I'm guessing it's somebody in like one of the Facebook groups I'm in, that discuss things that they found online, or just flea market hopping over at older Playmates employees, so Playmates toy line employees, and they found like a ton of paperwork about the actual wait the actual drawings from how they were supposed to make the prototypes to just actual hard copies, first shots. The first shots are the ones that were originally made from wax or something, and then they turn it into the plastic that was available, and then you get like the hard copies, which are usually the ones you see on the toy boxes for Turtles. And what always bothered me a little bit is that the hard copies are always like painted to the max, like every little detail is in there, and then you see it on the box and you're like, why is this like the same blue as all the other details on the toy? So I'm hoping this book is going to be good, and will hopefully get me some insights, like this one. Mike Knight, he never came out. He was like,
yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen a picture of him ever.
Yeah, he was actually one that was going to be in the line with the Forgotten Sewer, like Legends of the Forgotten Sewer or Warriors of the Forgotten Sewer. There's also a Lion Mikey, a Lion Raphael in that one, and also a Sorcerer Splinter. But they made like hard copies, but they never, shipped them out. So yeah, this book is available for pre-order. If any of you guys, like what that is, like it, or what do you guys think about this one?
I don't usually buy too many books, but this is going to be a must purchase for me. I think it's like $60, but with all that information and stuff that you can learn from this, I'm all in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I like books.
You like books? Okay.
I bring a lot to the program. No, I definitely need to beef up my literature when it comes to toys. Like I know, Eddie, you did kind of a spotlight on a bunch of different toy collecting books. I mean, you touched on Turtle one. It was because of me?
Yeah, you had like when I went on the Texas trip, you had like your Mark Bellomo book with you at all times, and it was like, I gotta get that thing. So I picked up the Star Wars one. I picked up the G.I. Joe one. If we can get even more toy line books like that, it would be just amazing to have like all that knowledge and everything neatly tucked into a book that you can read. I don't know if you guys are into books. I would love to get even though I don't collect it, I know you collect it, Cincy, but like a mask one, I don't know if there's one out there, or even Starcom. You know, that would be amazing to.
Yeah, if they made those, I would definitely buy them. One of the things that I really liked about that book, the Rad Plastic one, is the exploded view.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm not like engineerically inclined. I don't even think that's the correct word. But when you take something and explode it out and show all the little pieces inside, all the joints and stuff like that, I just think it's the coolest thing ever. I love the presentation of the book. I love the cover of the book, how it's the front of the turtle van there. Just they did this right. They got all the stuff that a collector would want to see: prototypes, unpainted models, all the stuff that is way too expensive for you to actually afford to buy yourself, unless you have like a lot of money. It's cool to be able to see like close up, high definition, that kind of stuff. Because again, it's so difficult and so expensive to be able to buy those things, the prototypes. One of the cool things that when I lived in Cincinnati is the toy department. We were near where Kenner started. So they actually had quite a few like unpainted prototypes. And I would just, I knew I couldn't afford them, but it was just cool to look at them. It was cool to see like the card that someone designed, an unused card, and the unpainted model that's made of like resin or even wood. It was just really cool to see that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of what would bring me to buy a book like this is I know what the actual finished product looks like. I want to see this stuff before the finished product. So the first shots, the exploded views, all that stuff, freaking amazing. So that's what I would be interested in a book like this. But yeah, if they made a Starcom or a mask, I'm 100% in.
Yeah. And then like, you want to say something about it, Nark? Or did you already?
No, I already did. Yeah, I'm all in on this. Just like Cincy was saying with all their prototypes and stuff like that, like we don't get to see any of that where I haven't. So.
Yeah, for me, this is like a definite go. I haven't like had the time to like really check like who made this and is this really going to come out? But
yeah, I think
like,
it's pretty legit.
It looks pretty legit, so I'm going to order it later today. And
it comes out in August of this year. So
okay. Yeah.
Hey, quick question for you guys. So on that first shots page there, if you look at like image B and image C, you could see that like the image C has red parts and a gray part. Are those shared mold parts versus original mold parts? Is that what I'm looking at there? So like on image B, it's got like the translucent plastic and then the yellow plastic. Are those translucent arms and legs? Are those things that were molded for other figures that they're kind of reusing? And then the yellow part is the original part to make that character unique? Or am I pulling this out of my ass?
I haven't read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it just has to do with which colors they have on hand to make it from, I guess. But it could be that they, tried.
That,
yeah. I guess they made just,
I really like that
stuff and tried piecing it together. Because you can always see like the guy who sculpted it, like this one's by Lynn. If you head over here, sculpt was done by Hicks. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I like to see it's got decent amount of text and some pretty pictures. So
yeah,
I'm all go for this one really. Then another one popped up actually in the same day, and that was this one coming soon. So this is Ninja Turtles configured. Just going to look like this. So it's spanning, I guess, the whole toy line from 1988 to 1997. So it's different from the first book we were discussing, which is, I think, more about how they were made. And it's done by somebody from Denmark. So Scott Dellerup, DK, I guess that's Denmark. And apparently he also did a Dino Riders Vintage Action Figures Unofficial Collector's Guide.
Really cool.
So I'm thinking I'm going to order this and then maybe see if I'm going to go for that one.
I'm thinking those would be great gifts to bring us next time we see you, Ed.
Right?
Oh,
Cut
yeah.
shipping.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get a package deal on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't speak any Danish, though. I do eat Danish every once in a while, but yeah. So yeah, that's the stuff I wanted to use this share screen function for. So there we go.
No, but I think all of us who have children, that we're all like students of the game or the toy game. So any kind of resources that come out, we're gonna gobble it up because we want to know as much as we can. Not so just because we love the history of toys, especially when we focus on a certain era. We want to know as much as we can about what went into these toys that we grew up with, that we love. Unlike my children, who I do not love at all. How does Daddy feel about you? What does he say every night? No. I'm afraid of what you're gonna say. Mute.
Did he cut the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, he just stopped talking. So, anyways, we got Josh Pence in the house. We got
How's it going?
got Retro Rick. Hey, buddy. Yeah, got lots of cool people in. Yeah. We got who else do we have in here? We got some returners. We got TXVG Collector 82.
Mr. Chris Good. Big TMNT collector. So I have a question, guys. If they were to redo Dino Riders, would you guys be in on that?
I think it's got a really cool story. I would love to see even like a Michael Bay one.
Yeah,
like, some type of movie, or even like the toys.
Yeah,
it would be cool, but it would be, I think, really expensive.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't really have a big attachment to Dino Riders, so yeah, unless they whipped up something new that I could appreciate on its own, I don't think I would really run towards it. But
yeah,
I'm not just gonna shun something just because I didn't appreciate it as a child.
Yeah,
I like to think I'm more open than that.
Right.
Very, very tolerant.
I didn't have a big attachment to Dino Riders either as a kid, but at the same time, I only had one Sectar figure, and I'm really into these 3 3/4-inch Zika Toy Sectar figures. So if they're done right and they look awesome, like if Big Boss Fight Studios, whatever they're called, Zika does it, I'll look at it, and if it looks good, then I'll probably get into it. But I didn't have a big attachment to Dino Riders as a kid. I think I was a little older when that came out.
Gotcha.
Like early 90s, I think, for Dino Riders.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I guess, wasn't it like same time TMNT came out?
Maybe was it 80? So 89ish, maybe.
Yeah,
89,
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so. I had like a VHS tape. That was all I had. I never knew there were any toys. So when I saw them, I was like, this is something I want to have. Checked it out on eBay, and I was like, maybe it's something I don't want to have.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey.
But then like a couple deals later, I have like one shelf dedicated to it, and I really like it. It's just unfortunate that the plastic breaks really easily.
Super easy
on those guys. Yeah.
Pretty hollow.
Yeah. We had one question in the
one question, a new record.
There's a few questions in the chat.
Yeah, but there was one really on top, like in the beginning. So Daniel has been a returning viewer. So thanks for watching every time, buddy. How did each one of you come up with your YouTube names? So I don't know who wants to go first with that one.
I mean, I could. There's not like a huge, yeah. I mean, it's not like a huge backstory, like like some kind of like Marvel superhero thing. But I actually came up with Grecofabulous in high school. I think it was actually my AIM screen name, AOL Instant Messenger. For those of you that grew up with that, it basically it was a play on words. It was like taking like Ghetto-Fabulous because I was like really into like rap. I still am. I like rap music and hip hop and things like that. And Greco, obviously, because I'm Greek, so I just kind of like merged the two into this perfect pairing, and it's kind of stuck with me ever since then. I mean, nobody called me Greco like in high school, so I didn't have like a persona. But as far as like an internet name, that's what I used. I pretty much use that for everything. Xbox Live, all that stuff. So I just kind of stuck with it.
For me, I'm making fun of myself, so not another retro channel. Obviously, I collect vintage and retro stuff, so I'm making fun of myself. So nothing too crazy.
For me, I started my channel and I needed to think of something other than my real name. So I lived near Cincinnati and I was into nerdy stuff. So Cincy Nerd just was a natural fit.
Okay. All right. Yeah, for me it was like Ed was my nickname from playing in bands for a long time, and when I wanted to make a channel, I was like, I'm gonna use that name, not my real name. And I wanted something kind of like AVGN, like Angry Video Game Nerd, so went with like the 4 words, can't even count. Seriously. The 4-word thing, and Ed's Retro Geek Out seemed to be okay. And I mean, yeah, that's where it comes from.
I do have a question because if you haven't noticed, I've been having a little bit of an identity crisis recently.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my name on YouTube used to just be Grecofabulous, and then for like a period of like three weeks, I attached like Retro Hunter D to it, which is also a play on words because like obviously Retro Hunter D is so it's a play on words in that it's an allusion to like Vampire Hunter D, that anime which I liked, but also Retro Hunter D because my last name starts with D. So I was like, oh man, I'm like the cleverest person in the world. And then that went away, and I added a collecting toy karma because that's kind of like what my buddy and I are calling ourselves. Not as like an official business, but we made like cards and stuff, and we set up at toy shows. So, and my rationale behind it was not to like confuse people, but like as I like comment on other people's videos and things like that, I want people to like see my name pop up and kind of have an idea of like what I do. So like, oh, he has this in his name. Maybe he makes videos too, and that'll like draw attention to my channel.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my rationale behind it. But I don't know. I mean, do you guys feel like what's in a name? Like, do you feel like it's really not that important what you like to make?
I think you should just go with the Grec.
Yeah.
The Grec.
Just be comfortable in my own skin is what you're saying.
I thought when you had like the Game Hunter D thing that you had typed it like another word starting with D, but it couldn't fit.
Yeah, it was actually my whole last name.
I was like, well, does he know this? That doesn't fit.
I was wondering what the D stood for, so I was like,
Yeah, I'm hunting for Retro D. Not that new stuff they got out there. No, thank you. 80s only.
So, Retro Rick asks, when do you think you guys will quit with all the I can't say that adolescent collecting and pour your hard-earned money into stock market and yard equipment? He's been watching too much of that Tiger dude, I think. Although he was just kidding, so I don't know.
We're gonna it's our fault that we haven't restarted the economy yet. I think Rick has a point.
I mean, I don't see myself stopping collecting anytime soon. I mean, I'm probably the oldest one in the 4 of us here. I'm going to be 45 in a couple weeks, and I don't see an end to this. It makes me feel like a kid again. So, and that was one of my happiest times of my life. Obviously, now is my happiest time with my kids and my wife. But when you're a kid, it's all different. It's just there's like innocence there, and they're just like everything is just new to you, and you're like finding new things in the world. So it brings me back to a more simple time. Especially when I get stuff like Starcom. I mean, just holding this box. I remember seeing this on the shelf in a Toys R Us. It still has the Toys R Us sticker on it, so that makes it even better. But I don't see myself pouring money into the stock market and lawn equipment and being that guy, I'm going to be a nerd for life. So
I might do lawn equipment and toys. That makes sense, right? Yeah, I don't see myself stopping for a while. I know a lot of it I'll probably keep for my kids, not all of it, but some of the stuff that they can appreciate. But I love this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
No, it is a lot of fun, and not just from like a a connection collecting standpoint. I think one thing I am doing as I'm getting older is just focusing what I really want. Like my interest in like Transformers has really gone all over the place from like now I kind of have a finish line in sight where I don't need the whole G1 series. I don't need this or that. Like I'm really focusing, so that's what I'm kind of doing, just setting finish lines for all these different toy lines. Obviously, that becomes more difficult with the newer stuff, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I feel like that kind of gets stretched thin a little bit. But no, I can't see this going away. And not only, I don't. The YouTube thing is just another outlet for me to just a creative outlet because I went to school for like production and all that stuff, and I didn't fall into like my job right now is sort of related, but it's not super creative as I would have liked it to be. So I think YouTube, and it's just a perfect marriage of this collecting hobby and kind of feeding the creative fires within me. Which is why I make stupid silly little videos that aren't just like show and tell, because I want to do a little bit more with it, and that's whether other people find it entertaining, that's great, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, for me, it's something I just love doing this. I love going out to the flea market and finding the stuff. I love connecting with all these people that are into the same thing, from all over the world. So for me, it's something. It's not gonna come to an end soon, I think. I've always been, collecting. So it's something I do. When I was like starting out in music, I was buying guitars and music CDs. That was something I was collecting, and then it just all stopped, and I went into retro gaming, went into toys, and I just love it. The feeling I get from looking at a TMNT toy is the only thing that can connect me to that time as a kid, that I was able to have such a bright imagination of stuff and really disconnect with anything that was happening outside. So whenever I'm in my room, when I put my kid to bed and I come here for like a half an hour, I'm just looking around, and like everything but the room, like the room is where it stops, and you look at the stuff you have, you enjoy, you relive the memories, you play a game. So yeah, for me, this is like my hobby, obviously, and yeah, it's what I love doing, I guess.
Well said.
Yeah. What do we have here? I thought I had put one up. We're getting donations. What are we donating for?
I think Josh donated.
Yeah, Josh and Mr. Imagination. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. Next time we get together, we can buy some drinks. That's gonna be cool.
We should charge admission then. There's money to be made here. Let's see how few viewers we can get.
Right.
Charge a door. Yeah.
Have you ever purged on your collection? And it's also up to me to point to speak. So Cincy, you can go first, man.
Have I ever purged my collection?
Yeah, ever purged your collection?
See what's going on here on the floor? This is called in the middle of a purge. I'm about to sell a bunch of stuff because I need to. I got hit with a pretty big bill on my car. So, as much as I love these things, a lot of these things do hold value. And if there's something that I need to pay for that hit me economically or financially, if these things can help pay for them, then so be it. So I am selling stuff. I do purge things out. I do sell things out, not only to help me out with bills or whatever is going on, but also to make more room for new stuff. I have no space for Starcom, and I want to start a Starcom collection. So in order to make space, I can't just build an addition to the house. I can't just take another room. I'm limited to the space that I have here. So I either move the stuff out of a shelf and put it in the closet, which I don't like doing, because I think that's just kind of a waste, or I sell something that I fell out of love with and make room and make money so I can invest it into something that I have a newfound passion for, which is like Starcom or Mask or something vintage wise. So yeah, I think it's a necessary part of collecting. If you don't sell things in your collection, I would tempt to say that you might be a hoarder. I think there's a fine line between collecting and hoarding. And I think that fine line is when you don't sell what you have. I think it's necessary. So yes, the answer is yes. I do that very frequently. There's obviously some things in my collection which I don't ever want to sell, some things that just mean a lot to me. And there are things like that. But, you know, I do have to do that from time to time.
Yeah. Like Craig, you're redoing your toy room, so that's probably popping lots of questions in your head like, do I want to keep this? Do I want to display this? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, on my next shelf, there's a bunch of Marvel stuff. Actually, since he's going to take some of that off my hands, so I'm looking at all my Marvel SHF stuff, and then I'm going to just work my way down to my Mezcos. Probably Storm Collectibles might be next, and then I'm going to reinvest that into stuff that I'm finding that I need while I'm doing all my reorganizing. It's been a task, but it's a lot of fun seeing what I have, what I need, what I can get rid of.
Yeah. How about you, Greco?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. I think what I'm doing now, I guess you could consider the closest I've ever gotten to purging my collection. Just now that I'm really trying to, again, maximizing the space I have available to actually put things on display, and not just, just shifting things from closet to storage to, to over here. I'm really finding what sparks joy when it comes to this collection, and I'm coming across a lot of pieces that just don't do it for me anymore. So I've definitely, especially during this like quarantine, I've sold plenty of things, boxed, mostly Transformers. It was back like in the like Robots in Disguise Classics days where they were the first figures that kind of alluded to that G1 look, but with updated toy kind of technology. So it was cool at the time, but compared to like what's coming out now, there is no comparison. So if I, so they're not needed anymore, at least in my collection. So that kind of stuff I'm purging. There's a whole box of G1s where, again, now that I've kind of set that finish line there, originally I kept it because I found it and it made sense to. But now that I realize that I really don't want this, I literally have a whole like cardboard box of G1s that are just waiting for someone else's collection that is going to appreciate them way more than I will.
Yeah, I think like with the lockdown happening, like I've redone the toy room and game room, and I've definitely purged, like took out stuff I was like, I'm not sure if I want this. I'm probably going to sell it, have some cash to buy stuff what I do want. And I think like focusing is something that happens every once in a while. If you do really keep everything, it is kind of hoarding, but what I used to have is like everything I found was like at flea markets and it was cheap, and I bought it, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it, but I would keep it for like 5 years in a box. So it wouldn't like, float like fast enough. I think now the pacing of those times that I do focus on the collection happen more often because stuff is just getting more expensive. Stuff I want. Yeah. So that kind of answers that question, I think. Tarsus, question time. Avengers, Infinity War, or Endgame? What do you think, Narc?
Gosh, that's hard. I want to go. So Endgame, well, both movies had so much emotions to it, but Endgame, I'm going to have to say, like, that last scene where all the Avengers come back, I've always wanted to see that on the big screen. Like, I lost my shit. Like, I was freaking out. So many emotions pouring over me. So Endgame.
What about you, Cincy?
Definitely Infinity War. I've started collecting all of the hot toys from Infinity War behind me there. I like Infinity War because it's basically the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU. It's the movie that ended on a down note. It's the movie where the bad guy won at the end, and I like the fact that it was so different, and that the good guys tried their hardest and they still lost, and it kind of echoes real life sometimes, where you try everything you can and you still lose. So I really love Infinity War. It's by far my favorite Marvel movie. I still love Endgame. Endgame was great, but nothing beats Infinity War.
I think I'm like on board with Infinity War being more interesting. The other one, I kind of like knew where it was going, but like most Marvel movies, I already know. Like Civil War as well, I already knew how that was going to end. How about you, Greco?
I have a terrible memory, so I can't really draw the line between the two. So I'll just pick whatever's more controversial.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't. I mean, I like them all. I loved all the whole Marvel universe pretty much. So can't go wrong, right?
Yeah. Can we talk about the Arcade 1-Up Marvel Edition? Any thoughts? I want to get like an Arcade 1-Up, but it's going to be the Turtles one. I don't know if you guys have seen the little arcades. Is that anything you guys want to get into, Cincy?
I own the Marvel Edition one. It has X-Men, it has Marvel, and then it has Punisher. And I love that machine. I have that machine, and I have the Street Fighter machine, and I play the Marvel one a lot more. But I'm with you. Yeah, the next one that I want to get, it's the priciest one. It's like $400, but it is the Turtles machine. I really want that one. And then there's another one which is actually on discount right now. It's only like $200, which is still pretty expensive, but it's got Final Fight, Ghosts and Goblins, Strider, and 1944, I think. So that one at Walmart right now is $200, and that's if I was going to get two more machines, those would be the next two I would get.
Yeah. How about you, Greco?
Yeah, I mean, I have the Street Fighter 2 cabinet that came out. I think it was during their first run, and I just fell in love with the idea of having my own arcade machine. Like that's always been a dream of mine, and for the price point, that was probably the closest I was ever going to get, unless I really got into like building my own or stumbled upon like a cabinet somewhere that I could refurbish. So I jumped all over that, and I actually went through the trouble of like modding it. So right now I kind of ripped out the original guts and I put in like a Raspberry Pi and swapped out all the joysticks and buttons and all that stuff and kind of like souped it up. So it's pretty much like a choose your own arcade at this moment, which is pretty sick. I will say though, it's kind of like when the initial luster kind of wore off, I haven't really been playing it, unfortunately. Because there's some things that you can't recreate from because I love the arcade as a kid, but just like, playing with your buddies. I mean, you can invite people over, obviously, but it's not the same where you're going somewhere kind of like outside of your homes to play, a dedicated arcade space. One thing you definitely can't replicate is the kind of like the thrill, because like I used to play those beat 'em ups like a ton, like the Turtles games, the Simpsons, X-Men, like all those games I loved. And those were less skill and more like how much like quarters you can get from your parents. And that's definitely a feeling you can't replicate because especially with the way I did it, it's pretty much unlimited lives. I forget if Cincy, do you know with yours, like does it give you a finite amount or can you just like continue?
No, you can keep playing through.
Okay, so I mean that kind of it kind of sucks the excitement out of it a little bit, knowing that there are no consequences. You can just literally just like mash away, and eventually you'll beat the game. But yeah, I mean, so I went right for Street Fighter 2 when that happened because of a price drop. But had I known that like Turtles was on the horizon, that would probably be my go-to. But now I don't have the space to kind of go beyond one machine. So I think that's it for me for now.
Yeah, space-wise for me, like one machine would be the only thing happening.
All right.
How about you, Craig?
I think I would have to go with the TMNT machine. If it was like $200, I think that would be a done deal. But I also want the NBA Jams machine so freaking bad. I got to play that at Toy Fair this year, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. So it'd be TMNT on the discount, and then NBA Jams for sure. And I don't know where the hell I would put them, but I would find a spot. But those two for sure.
Okay, awesome. We got another question. Got David from Blucher's Videos and Collectibles. What vintage toy line do you want to collect that you don't have any items from that particular line right now? Why don't you go first, Greco?
The only one that's coming to mind is, and it's not something that I'm like really hunting for. Again, I keep my net wide so that I can get a good deal when they present itself. But I'd like to get some Captain Power in my collection, because I do have some memories growing up of kind of like the TV series that went along with it, the interactive VHS tapes where you can like point your like the ship at the screen and supposedly like get a score and all that stuff by shooting the baddies. That I have enough of a memory of that I want to get it. So I think in a limited fashion, I would probably get some Captain Power stuff.
How about you, Cincy?
So before this current purchase, it was Starcom. But now that I have Starcom, there's 3 series or 3 lines that I really want to buy some figures from. Power Lords, if anyone remembers that. I really distinctly remember the Power Lords commercial and the jingle. And I can still sing the jingle, and I can still see the figures. So I want to get some of the Power Lords. I want to get some Shogun Warriors, because my first ever toy was a hand-me-down from my older brother, and it was a Shogun Warrior, one of the gigantic Shogun Warriors. So I want at least, oh man, that's awesome. That's so cool. When we were at the convention here in Dallas, I saw a guy that sold, he had all 4 in box, and I think he sold all 4 for like $600. It was a crazy price.
What?
Yeah. And I asked, oh my gosh, how much are those? And he goes, they're already sold. I'm just keeping them there until the guy leaves and he can take them home with him. So, but yeah, I'm very jealous of that Shogun Warrior. I want one so bad. And then the other one is Micronauts. I remember Micronauts when I was a kid, and I think I had one of them. And I really want some more of them. I remember the translucent plastic. And I'm sure if I got one in my hands and saw the card and saw the art, it would bring back more memories. I use these things, these vintage toys, almost to unlock memories that are just in my head that I can't remember anymore. Because every time, like I had a Doctor Doom Secret Wars figure, and I got it in my hand, I was looking at the card and I turned it over, and I literally was starting to, like, memories were just like popping up into my head that were locked away. It's the craziest thing ever, but I'm using vintage toys to like open up my brain. But sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but those are the lines that I would definitely buy stuff from.
What about you, Craig?
So I got 2 of them today. I think I want to maximize my Food Fighters collection. So I have these 2. And I think they have that egg carton, the vehicle. So I definitely want that and get the rest of the lines. Like, I had these when I was a kid, and surprisingly, I didn't have any of these. So that's really cool. And they had the hot dog and the pizza. And I think there's a couple other characters. And also in the early 90s, Nintendo came out with these little, I don't know, 3-inch PVC figures of like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So they have Little Mac and they have King Hippo. So I definitely want those. And then I think I would be good.
Yeah. For me, it would probably be like before my time, Clash of the Titans, that toy line. Like the big monster and like the death character is something I've been wanting for a while now. And like stuff that was at the very end of me watching cartoons is Mummies Alive.
Oh yeah.
Which I still haven't found any toys from or anything like that. It's a show I did watch, never got any of the toys, but it's something I want to try out, and that's coming back to that whole, when you purchase your collection, when you tried something out and you're like, okay, I kind of like this, does it jog enough memories? Does it jog the right memories for me? So those two would be it for me. Yeah, definitely. Everybody went, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else we have in here. When searching for retro stuff, do you ever find out about toys, games, cartoons you've never heard of before?
All the time.
There's so much stuff out there, honestly. There's so much stuff. Oh.
I haven't really heard of Food Fighters until Narc just brought it up.
Really?
Yeah. I never heard of those. He also brought up, I kind of remember the cartoon from the 80s, but Brave Star. When we were at PowerCon, we were at a animation booth, and they sell these animation cells, and he was looking for Brave Star, and I was like, I don't even remember that. So he brought that up, and then I was talking to Michael Mercy, and he brought up Brave Star, and he said it's like one of his favorite cartoon series. So I started watching them, and they were really well done. So
it's a really good series. Really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I ever saw a single episode of that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Me neither. I think like some cartoons got broadcasted over like the French TV. Lots of like the manga anime stuff. Definitely like Dragon Ball Z is something I never watched. Like it or Sailor Moon. That was all like on French TV. So didn't really watch that. Yeah, I don't know.
Who was your favorite Sailor Scout, Ed?
The Sailor Moon girls?
Yeah, who's your favorite Sailor Scout?
The blonde, I guess. I don't know. I was like 5 or 6 when that was out here.
Hey, you brought it up. If you're not ready to talk about it, maybe
you get a big collection of those, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They made it to the.
They're about to get Grec, aren't they?
The French version of Sailor Moon have hairy armpits.
Great question.
Yeah. Do we have some more questions? Yeah, Brave Star was awesome. Dark Star. Is it Black Star?
Black Star.
Those are some cool figurines too.
They are.
I have like one that's complete, but it's the only thing I have. But I want to get like the main characters, and they look pretty nice. Yeah. So those Mike Tyson ones.
Yeah.
So apparently some have those, like Mario's and stuff. The little Mac trophy figure.
$100.
What? That's insane.
Spicy meatball.
It's something like I usually look over at flea markets because there's so many like recently put out Mario stuff from McDonald's. So I'm always looking for the PVC stuff, but I don't know if I would recognize like a little Mac. So it's something I would need to like have like a flyer of, or at least see to even like recognize those figures. Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't done Mike Tyson's Punch-Out figures with as many people that love that game. It seems like an untapped like gem of a license to have.
Do you think that? I mean, they can work around it, obviously, but do you think because some of the names were like not politically correct, that that's kind of in the back of their minds? I mean, they don't have to do every single character, but
they could always change the name too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do, or they don't redo that. That would be a gold mine for them.
I would buy it
because they did like
line.
Ghosts and Goblins.
They just came out with those reaction figures. Those look freaking amazing.
Yeah. But they've done other ones before, right? Like
I think so.
Yeah.
Wait, they did Punch-Out reaction figures?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just came out with those. They look really good.
But Punch Out would be cool though.
It would.
Definitely.
Come on, Super.
Sorry?
I said Super 7. Let's do it. They should.
Where do we go to determine the prices to sell your toys? eBay sold listings, or just what you see over at vendor floors, something like that. But usually, if I have something good, it doesn't really reach the vendor floor. It's more like my collector friends are already on it, and they usually end up trading. So it's not really price. Yeah. So yeah, for me, if I don't know, I'm gonna check like eBay prices sold. If they don't,
I think that's my answer. Pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, eBay sold listings is definitely like where I get the current market for certain items. But what I end up like asking for it really depends on what platform I'm using to sell it. So like if I'm setting up at like a toy show, I definitely like at least try to knock off like I try to come in under like right around like 30% less on what it's averaged on eBay, because I figure like again I pride myself on not being just another uh table that asks eBay prices. I want to give people like incentive to actually buy from me, and usually the reason why I try to get a good deal for myself is so I can pass it on to other collectors. So that's what I try to do when I sell it locally, and in certain Facebook groups, because you're avoiding some of those eBay fees if you do it that way. So I kind of take that into account. But then there's instances where it makes total sense to just sell it on eBay and kind of shoot for the moon, because there's been ridiculous instances where somebody would just like buy your thing without any kind of like with a price that makes no sense in a good way. So in those cases, yeah, I kind of set the bar high with like a kind of a high buy it now with best offer, and then just like over time, I'll drop it if it's not really selling.
Yeah, totally.
So, do we have any good lunch boxes? I don't. I did find like a couple of like sippy cups from GI Joe, which I really like. But no luck yet with lunch boxes. I would love to get some, TMNT type. Didn't you have like a Super Mario Brothers one or a Zelda one? Correct?
Yeah, I have Super Mario Brothers 2 with Zelda. I have a Motu. I have a Fraggle Rock. I have a Muppets. And I think that's about it.
Was that something that was like really insanely big in the USA? Because in Europe we would just have a red lunchbox or a blue lunchbox. Was that like the thing to have?
Yeah, every year for school, like I would get a backpack and a new lunchbox. So I totally was excited for that when that happened.
See what happens when you don't allow communism into your country, Ed? I know my history, don't you? Yeah, this is the only one I have in my collection, and it's not because I don't want more. It's just that every time I come across a lunchbox, somebody wants like crazy money for it, and I just can't justify paying that much for a lunchbox.
Yeah.
But this one was good. I think it was like a Facebook Marketplace deal. But the big key is that it actually has a thermos in it as well.
Are those the ones that have like glass on the inside that are usually broken, or?
No, it's all plastic. Oh, it has this little like flip up.
Well, that's what mine looks like from the GI Joe ones. So yeah. How about you, Cincy? You get any desire for any lunch boxes?
I do. I want to buy one lunchbox, and it's for pure sentimental reasons. I met my best friend in second grade because we had the same lunchbox, and all because of that, we were best friends all through high school and everything. So that lunchbox was an Empire Strikes Back lunchbox. I was actually typing over here on eBay, and I found the lunchbox on eBay. You guys are talking. It's the one where they're on Dagobah, and Luke is about to shoot Yoda. But it was a metal lunchbox from 1980. and it's $75 plus $20 shipping. I don't know why it's $20 shipping, but yeah, I could literally buy that lunchbox right now. But yeah, that's the only lunchbox I would want to buy, just because it brings back that memory of meeting my best friend. So
cool, awesome. Apparently they're putting out new Gundam figures. Any thoughts on those? I did watch that show. That was one of like the anime shows that got, I don't think it got translated to Dutch. We just get, like American voices on our cartoons, and like the French part of Belgium gets overdubbed. I don't know why. But yeah. I really like Gundam. Like it's pretty cool, the big robot stuff. Like in Japan, they have like giant statues like that. It's really weird, but cool at the same time.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Would you want to get one, Craig?
Gundams? No, I mean, I don't really have an attachment to them, but I see the new figures in the store and they look great, and they have a bunch of model kits and stuff too as well. But yeah, it's really not my thing.
How about you, Cincy?
no, I missed the whole Gundam phenomenon. I remember the commercials. I don't even remember when they started airing. I think it might have been like mid to late 90s, but they had commercials on television for Gundam models, and it was like the skill level required to build the model. And I thought those were kind of cool at the time. I've never been into that. I've never seen a Gundam anime. I had a really good friend who literally had like every single model, and his entire man cave was all Gundam models, and they look awesome. There's like translucent ones, chromed out ones. They're very, very cool looking. I don't have a single Gundam, but I will say that one of my favorite scenes in movie Ready Player One was with the Gundam.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Coolest scene ever. And I love that movie. I rewatched that movie. So after seeing that movie, I actually wanted to buy like that Gundam that was in that movie, but I never got around to it.
How about you, Greco?
So, I mean, you would think I'd be all over it because it's kind of like right up my alley with like big Japanese robots. But I've never like fully bought into Gundam. Like I've had plenty of false starts with Gundam Wing, like that version of the anime, and I think I own some on DVD. But I never like watched it straight through, and then so it never really like turned into a toy purchase while it was happening. Since then, I see more models than I do figures. I did come across some of the carded like Bandai figures before, but it's not something that I wanted to keep at the time. And models like look awesome in the right hands, but I don't think mine are the ones to really like bring it to its full potential. It's just too much of a like beast mode with these guys. I don't have the finesse to really take care of it.
Okay. We got Andy's Toy Bin. Who had the better holograms, Supernaturals or Visionaries?
Supernaturals.
Yeah.
All the way, because they're a little bit bigger than the Visionaries, but I like the Supernaturals myself.
Supernaturals are where like the part of like
the ghost
the
figure.
whole
yeah
pretty much the whole figure is a hologram.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for the Visionaries. They have like the staffs with thing on. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. So is that also your answer to it, Cincy?
Yeah, this is my answer only because I've never owned a Supernatural figure, so I only know Visionaries. And I had Leoric when I was a kid, and I had a couple of the other ones. So by default, I have to say Visionaries because I've never owned a Supernatural figure.
How about you, Greco?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot more Visionaries than Supernaturals in my exploring. But I want to. Did Supernaturals have more? Like, what do they show in their holograms traditionally? Like, were they cooler compared to Visionaries, or?
I think so, because it's like a ghost, and it's like their normal self, and then you move it and you see the ghost or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, so let's do that. 2-2. 2-2.
2-2. Okay, Sebastian asks, thoughts on collecting sealed games for any reason besides being a shelf ornament? Well, they've been selling for quite some bucks, right? I mean, didn't like one of the sealed Super Mario Brothers just go for like 12K or like an outrageous number, at least eight or something around 10K. I don't get it. Like
I
why
kind of get it.
like if it's for a investment. Yeah.
I look at sealed games almost like you're buying a piece of art, because you can buy slabbed comic books as well. Greco probably knows about slabbed comic books, graded comic books that are, you can't take them out of the plastic unless you take a hammer and a screwdriver to them. You're basically buying a piece of artwork for your wall or for your cabinet, whatever, however you want to display it. So I understand people wanting to buy a sealed game because literally it is a piece of artwork at that point. You're not going to cut the plastic. You're not going to take the game out. So I understand the motivation in doing so.
But if it's sealed, will you still get a grade, or is that like a different thing?
I think they do graded games, do they not?
They do. Like
Yeah, they
slab
grade
games?
games, but if it's already sealed, like
I'm sure they do. I'm sure.
No, they definitely grade it. I mean, at that point, and so just to like weigh in, I don't own any sealed games. It's one of those things where I'm definitely not chasing it, obviously because of the potential price points. But if I stumbled upon something that that I would want to keep for myself, I absolutely would. Like under no circumstances would I open it because there's so many different outlets that I could play it on. It just really makes no sense. And I'd be a little bit of a hypocrite if I said like, no, it's totally dumb because nowadays I find myself leaning more towards like sealed in box toys. So I kind of understand. I don't know what within me like necessarily makes me want to have that in it from a toy perspective, but I like it. And now again, I'm spending more money on like trying to protect these things. So if I did have it, I would definitely get it. I don't know if I would get it graded. I would definitely buy some kind of encasing for like an acrylic case or something at the very least. But yeah, I mean, to Cincy's point, I have graded comics before. Again, not because I want to say like, oh, I have a 9.8 of this or potentially sell it in the future, but more to preserve it. So I mean, I would definitely, if it fell into my lap, I would definitely keep a sealed game, but I am not actively pursuing them by any means.
yeah, same for me. I'm not looking for them, and I think if I were to find one, I'd probably sell it because you're not going to open it up, right?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Ed, with that.
Yeah,
Like, it's cool and it's a piece of art, of course, but I could get a lot of cool stuff for that, and it's just going to sit there, and I'm not going to appreciate it.
Well, I think it depends what it is. If it is something you really care about, I think you would keep it, at least for a little bit.
Okay. All right. Ed number 2 asks, what toy line did you wish was made when you were kids that was not made at that time? For him, it was the X-Men toy line. Yeah. Cincy, what do you think?
When I was a kid, I'm going to change that question slightly, and I'm going to say that I wish figures when I was a kid had the articulation that they do now, like Marvel Legends figures.
Yeah.
Marvel Legends figures, like the face printing technology and the articulation they have now, I think that kids that actually do collect toys now are kind of spoiled with how nice the figures are. And as nice as the vintage figures were, and as many memories as they bring back for us as collectors, I just wish that they had that level of articulation and sculpt work that they have now. So,
for me, it's like the complete opposite. I would have. I want to be around when like Star Wars, like the first ones came out, to have seen like He-Man become a thing, to see Transformers, because like I was born in '88, so all those things were like hand-me-downs, and I had to kind of figure out where does this toy come from. I did play with it and I watched reruns, but I was never in like that time when it all came out, when everything was so magical about that. So yeah, for me it would be that, like if I could have lived that. Yeah. How about you, Craig?
I really want a Carl Winslow action figure, like really bad. So I wish they would have made that. Still on that. So. Like him in a uniform and in a sweater, you know, coming down the stairs. Would have been freaking awesome. I still want that. So somebody please do that.
We gotta get somebody commissioned to make you one.
I need one
I
bad.
think I can make that happen.
Would
How about you,
take
Greco?
would you take a clay version? I might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, of course. He has to have like a like a sub sandwich too, and like Urkel walk in and like be awesome.
How about you, Greco?
I think, I mean, I was born in the mid '80s, so I feel like I had a good exposure to a lot of the stuff I cared about. There's not that much that predated me that I was like, oh man. The only thing I can think of is maybe like if I was in the Shogun Warriors like heyday, because even though I have like the one behind me and it's really awesome, I don't have any history or childhood memories of actually like playing with one as a kid. And I feel like that's something that I definitely would have been fully entrenched in if it was during, if I was a contemporary of Shogun Warriors.
Yeah, that's also something like the Shoguns. They're pretty sweet, man.
Which
and
is so
like
funny. Like it's just so funny how like
Big
you,
Jim, stuff like that.
yeah. Which is funny looking at it, and not to keep, not to make anybody feel bad. But just looking at it, it's like it's so funny that like they're so basic when it comes to like, again, like toy technology. Like they're just big heaps of plastic. I mean, they do have like projectiles and things like that, which is really cool. But there really are just like a bunch of giant pieces of plastic like screwed together. The legs are like sand. There's like, if you ever like disassembled one, there's like bottles of sand in the legs, so which kind of weigh them down, which is kind of neat. So I think this toy like really pushes your imagination, which is a great thing for any toy to do when you're a kid or even as an adult. So it's kind of a, I don't know, it's just kind of a, not a miracle, but just something that's like, why are these such a big deal? And but I think it's just because you had to use your imagination to kind of really bring them to life completely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thoughts on opening vintage sealed toys. Picker's Warehouse TV says, in a recent video, I opened up 2 sealed TMNT, had mixed feelings about it. We actually did that a couple months ago.
We did?
When I was in Texas with Greco and Narc, we sat down and we opened up 2 really yellowed talking turtles, which I had bought for a really good price, and they were kind of like beater cards. Is that the term you use?
Yeah,
a beater card. Yeah, so it's not really like in any reasonable condition to send it in to get graded or anything like that. And I was like, I want these, like, I want to hear how they talk. So we opened them up, and yeah, I also have mixed feelings, but I'm glad I have them now and they're complete. So yeah. How, like, another thing I want to add to that, TMNT wise, I know like the Adventurer turtles, which are very hard to find loose complete, but people want them loose complete, so they actually buy them on card, open up the card to have one loose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kind of get it. You should never open up like a vintage toy like that, but I guess like if you buy it, it's yours, and you do with it how you want to, fulfill your collection, I guess.
Sure.
So, how about you?
I mean,
or yeah, you go first.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I understand why you did it, Ed, because it was kind of like a gimmick, and you're just fishing for views. But just kidding. I mean, the circumstances with your thing, we're right. Like you said, it was kind of a beater thing. It wasn't it was a figure that you came to terms with that you were okay with opening. I can't see myself in any way opening a carded figure or a sealed thing that I actually wanted to keep in my collection. Like if I upgraded or bought it in that condition for a reason, I just can't see myself doing it. I feel like it would be, if it's not instant regret, it would come eventually. And you never know. I feel like we've all been pretty fortunate in with what we've been finding out there, but you never know when you can get that chance again. So, and it's a limited resource, so don't save the earth, don't ruin it.
How about you, Cincy?
So one of the best memories I had as a kid was going to a store and walking back to the toy section and seeing what they had, because I didn't get to go to the toy section very often, especially like Toys R Us. I only got to go to Toys R Us on birthdays and special occasions. So when I have a sealed, carded figure in my hand, like a Secret Wars Doctor Doom or a soft head Leonardo, like I have in my closet, that's literally a memory. I'm holding a memory. So I can't take it off a card, because then I would be taking that memory away of me walking to the aisle and my eyes seeing these figures on the hooks, and then me deciding, what am I going to get? There's so many choices. So that's why I can't physically take a figure out of package that's sealed on card, especially a vintage figure.
I actually like search for not sealed vehicles, just so I never have to open them up.
Yeah.
Although it is like a guarantee that it's complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you at on it, Craig?
So if it was on a beater card and I really needed the figure loose, complete, I would take it out just like you did. I don't see a problem with that, because you can obviously keep the bubble, keep the card, and kind of try to put it together if you want to another day. But just something normal, there's no way I couldn't do it. Loose complete.
Loose complete.
Yeah.
Okay, so Empire Toys. Actually, next week on Wednesday, I'm doing a live stream with Empire Toys and Pizarro Species, which are two UK toy hunters. And we're going to kind of like talk about how toy hunting is going on in the UK. And obviously, I'm going to touch on the Corona subject a little bit. But yeah, that should be a fun stream this Wednesday. He's asking any films or TV series you would like to see new toys made for. He would like to see Starship Troopers and G.I. Joe size, so we can have 2 scale bugs.
Yeah.
Tiger King, all the way. All of it.
All of it.
I've seen some customs. They're pretty good.
Carl Winslow.
Only one man can stop the Tiger King. Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
I think now stuff is just going crazy with like the reaction figures, Super 7, NECA, anything and everything is happening. Funko doing the He-Man stuff.
Yeah, killing it.
It's gonna have to stop at one point. I mean, are we gonna keep buying all this stuff?
I think we got another 2 or 3 years for Motu, because I think they're just about to ramp up. So, which is totally fine for me, but
I don't know what I would like to see happening. It's I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I could come up with like a really awesome answer. Just give me some, heads up next time.
Okay.
If you could feed me the questions in advance, I'd do a lot better with it. But Starship Troopers would be cool. I love that movie when it first came out, and I feel like
it has toys, right?
Yeah,
I think it does. Yeah, but they weren't anything too spectacular from what I remember.
Okay.
But then again, before all this like reaction stuff started happening, like kind of in line with that, like I wouldn't have mind like a better like RoboCop toy line, but NECA's obviously did stuff, Hot Toys and all that kind of craziness. So that's kind of been, that wish has been granted.
How about you, Cincy?
I've been thinking long and hard about this question, and the only thing I can think of is more figures related to Quentin Tarantino movies, just because I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and specifically Hot Toys figures. I would love to see some Hot Toys figures from like Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction, or even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Just random stuff like that that I would love to, because I started putting some of my random like movie-related Hot Toys figures out in front of my TV where I'm watching movies. So, like non-MCU, non-Marvel, non-Star Wars Hot Toys figures from movies that I like is what I would love to see.
Yeah. I did like a room tour over at a collector here in Belgium, and he had like a couple of those Django Unchained ones that got pulled from the market.
Mhm.
Those, yeah, lots of Kill Bill ones. Is that Tarantino?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's also really into that, so I definitely get why you want more stuff like that, because those movies are pretty epic. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have time for one more question after this one. I'm not sure if this. I don't know what Neon Genesis Evangelion is actually.
It's an anime.
Oh,
I think it's a
okay.
racial slur.
I thought it was like
Should block
asking which god do you believe in. Yeah.
My favorite
Nah,
book of Genesis, since we're on the topic now.
I didn't know that was an anime. So I don't know about it. Do any of you know about it?
Very, very little, only because I used to work in a comic book store and I knew that we sold like statues and figures and stuff from it. And I've always appreciated the look of it. But I've never seen a single anime. I think they did some manga comics also. I've never read one of those. But it goes along the same lines of like Appleseed, if you're familiar with that. That's another anime which I really appreciate the look of. I just have never seen a single one. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, man. I think this is gonna be it. Maybe let's just go over a couple of things that you guys are gonna have coming out this week, if you want to share. So yeah, Greg, why don't you go first, buddy?
Grec or Craig?
Greg.
Oh, okay.
Denard
Yeah.
Baxter.
What am I doing with my collection? Part 3 will be dropping this week. Yeah. So it's going to be all vintage TMNT, and I'm super excited about it. Like, probably one of them, looking forward to it. So this week.
How about you, Greco?
Yeah, so I mean, you just got a brand new video today, so everyone that says that
So
I don't
nothing's
make
happening.
videos, yeah, nothing's happening for at least a month. No, so yeah, just dropped a live toy hunting video. So for those of you that are fiending for some live action, where you actually see the point of view of the person, definitely check out my channel. It just dropped today. I think the next one that probably makes sense in the pipeline is similar to a lot of you guys. We've moved on to like internet shopping for some of our hunting, so I'm expecting a few packages this coming week, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I think that'll be my next video. Pretty easy to throw together.
All right, awesome. How about you, Cincy? Wait, you said you're going to be returning to edited videos, but still doing live streams, right?
Yeah, I'll have a live stream next Friday around noon Central Time, but I will also be filming a video on this bad boy right here, this Star Max bomber right here. And then I also have a haul of other stuff. I'm not sure when I'm going to film it or when I'm going to edit it or when it's going to drop, but it'll be sometime next week. So there you go.
Awesome.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm going to have some videos coming out, doing a live stream on Wednesday, and next weekend we're going to do another live in the attic. So I want to thank so much. I want to thank Cincy so much for being on as special guest. It was fun seeing you again, because it's been like 6 months, something like that, since I've spoken to you.
You gotta come back here.
Sorry. So yeah, thanks so much, and yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat for watching, for doing donations. We're gonna grab some drinks off of that, and thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. So yeah, bye guys.
Bye, friends.
Thanks, guys.